Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Politics in Plain English. And yes, this is part 2 of the dossier that we had from last week. And this is so important that you know this. I had to actually go on the computer and just copy everything that I needed to tell you all today, because if I didn't, this is what would have happened. You see here on the computer, all those black spots? Yes, all of that had to be redacted or taken out. So if I had tried to print this, it would have been basically just black spots. So I had to take those out, and what I came up with was basically 6 pages, but I got it down to 3 pages. And I'm going to explain to you everything that's in here. This is the memorandum from Charles Grassley, Chairman, and the U.S. Senate on the Judiciary Committee, Lindsey Graham. That's who this Subcommittee of Crime and Terrorism, U.S. Senate Committee, okay? And that's to the Honorable Rod Rosenstein, the Attorney General, U.S. Department of Justice, and it is regards to referral of Christopher Steele for potential violations of the 18th U.S.C. 1001. That's all this up here. Now, this document is a continuation from the other one that we had last week. It just goes into a little bit more detail. And it seems that, according to this, Mr. Steele prepared a series of documents styled as intelligence reports, some of which were later compiled into a dossier and published by BuzzFeed in January 2017. On the face of the dossier, it did appear that Mr. Steele gathered much of this information from the Russian government sources inside of Russia, according to the law firm Perkins Coyle. And Mr. Steele dossier related efforts were funded through the Fusion GPS. So on the surface, it looked like, hey, yeah, he did exactly what he's supposed to, whatever. But that was only on the surface. As we read further here, it says that it appears that Mr. Steele lied to the FBI or the British courts, or that the classified documents received by the committee contain materially false statements. Oh my goodness. And I want you to be able to look at this little handwriting, the little writing down here below. Now, the reason why that's important is because that's a footnote. And you notice that the footnote is always smaller than anything else. And who actually reads the footnotes? Nobody, not even judges. So when you see a little footnote down here, everybody bypasses it. And this is how the Democrats got away with a lot of stuff. They put it in a little footnote. And they were relying on the FBI, who they would never lie to anyone, that everything was up and aboard. Because in the footnote, it says very timely, Clinton campaign, DNC paid for. See, nobody reads that. That's how they slipped it in there so they can say, hey, we told the truth. But they didn't. They lied. And James Comey, they got him here. He testified that, everything was okay. But when he went to Trump, he actually told Trump this was salacious and unverified information. That's what he told Trump, but he was doing something else in the FISA court. Big crooks. Now, page 2. They actually have Mr. Steele, this is admitting that he gave on the record briefings to a small number of journalists about the pre-election memorandum. And so what he did, Mr. Steele, he basically just went around and did this little game that people normally, if you played it before, I'll whisper to you and you whisper to somebody else, and they do it and go on around and round. So he went to as many media sources as he possibly could to spread this information. And the reason why I gave you the example of whispering something, because once, if you've ever played that game, once you whisper something to someone else, and by the time it gets all the way back around, it's totally different. And that's what Mr. Steele did. And again, you see the little footnotes, very tiny, and what have you. He puts down there Clinton campaign, which nobody reads the footnotes. They slipped it on through. And the where did Mr. Steele go with this information? Well, we know he was the leaker, but he just didn't leak just anywhere. He wanted to go to the Washington Post and to the Yahoo News. Now, why did he do this? Well, he did this to make his dossier have some kind of ring of authenticity to it. So if the Washington Post is quoting it and the Yahoo News is quoting it, then evidently, this must be pretty good to substantiate the stuff that was put in the dossier, which we know was a lie because it was made up. Okay? And now we got Mr. Steele on record saying that all of this. So this is not a matter of hearsay. This is what Mr. Steele actually admitted to. And the third page, which is my last page, he admitted that he received and included it in unverified allegations. That filing implies that similarly he received unsolicited information. So in other words, think of it like this. Say you're out with your friends, maybe at a bar or club or whatever, and somebody just starts talking and say, hey, so-and-so. They start some gossip. And they say, hey, did you know this about so-and-so? No, I didn't hear this information about so-and-so. Well, what did you hear? Okay, well, let me tell you what I heard, and you tell me what you heard. That's how all of this got started. He was going around getting unsolicited information that could not be verified from whomever he could get it from, and that's what he did. So, like I said, they tried to put it off on the Republicans that, oh, this is not true, but they did do this. This is here documented that the Democratic Party, under the guise of Hillary Clinton, like I said in the little footnote that you can't read, nobody reads, that this was bought and paid for by them. And the FISA judge was misled, thinking that all of these people, because like I said, who would think that the government officials are going to lie to another government official? But evidently we know they do. So anyway, get this number 2. And let me know what you think, and be sure to subscribe and share. And next time I'm going to have something, hopefully it'll be to tell you about Pizzagate, because that's a whole story, another story within itself. And you got to hear what's going on. Okay, bye-bye.